Hello and welcome to Anxious Black Belt podcast. I'm your host, Les Bubka. Anyway, I will try to be louder.
Perfect.
You don't have that problem, don't you?
No. I project my voice quite a lot. So yeah.
So today I'm with Sensei John Jarvis from Kazoku Karate Do
Jutsu, yeah.
Jutsu Do.
Yeah, we're having a look at potentially maybe not necessarily remarketing, but also maybe just changing a few logos and stuff. Maybe.
Where's that done?
Just to maybe just sort of bring it a little bit more up to date. You know, I know we've had the logo now since 2017, which is a great logo. I'm not going to change anything on our uniforms or anything like that. It's just maybe for probably more marketing purposes, maybe.
Because you went more now into the kind of self-protection and practical side of karate instead of the development.
Yeah, I think the thing was where the association that I came from before was very Keon driven, very basic driven. There was hardly any pad work, self-protection type of thing. It was literally all line drills and so on and kata, which was great because obviously I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for that. But I think obviously moving away from that and being associated now with the BCKA and Peter and Ian and all those other guys as well, there was just a different route that I wanted to take. Back in 2017, when we started up, and it's just sort of progressed from there really. The more practical side of things for me, and we were practicing kata before, but not understanding why we were doing them in a certain way. And I think there's a lot of people like that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you end up being a full-time teacher?
So being a full-time teacher, so I started karate with Kieran, that's my oldest son. He started back in 2003. It was a thing where we had a guy come round, knocked on the door. Hi, we're the local karate club, blah 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 blah. Why don't you come and join us? And literally they're only just down the road. In fact, I'm still training from our club in that dojo now. And it was basically, you look like you could do with losing a few pounds. Why don't you come and join in? So I signed up with Kieran. And then, we did it once a week, and then, the instructor said, "Oh, you're doing really well, why don't you come on board as maybe a potential leader?" And then that's how I got sort of enticed in with it. And then through that, I then became sort of an instructor, and then Kieran was doing it more, then Jess signed up, and then Chrissy did it as well. And then obviously in later years when Harvey came along, then he started doing it as well. So that's sort of how that sort of started, really. But yeah, it was it's a great journey.
Did you take over the club, or they moved?
No, so with the club that we were at, it was I was very much a volunteer. We did a hell of a lot for the club. I did get free training. But it was very sort of limited, and I'm not going to slag the club off because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for it. But I just feel as though for myself I needed more, and to do that I needed to branch out. So it was the case of right, let's move away from that, set our own club up, and see where that takes us. Did I think I was going to go full time back in 2017? Not quite, because it was we only had a handful of students that came across, and we had we were advertising on Facebook as you were back then. It wasn't obviously as massive as it is now. We got some new members in, and we signed up some little kiddies, and we're doing some kiddie classes, but we weren't hitting anywhere near where I needed to be to do it as a full time thing. But then I ended up getting a business manager. A guy called Gordon Bircham. There's quite a lot of people that know him, and he helped us sort of grow the school. Unfortunately, we couldn't stick with it because obviously COVID hit. But we got to a decent level in 2020 where I could go full time. But then obviously COVID hit at that point as well. That's when I gave my job up in 2020, just in the January, and then obviously COVID hit in the March. But then we had, obviously that period of that time, we ended up losing, I think it was about 100 students, I think, at the time. But because of the furlough and the mortgage stuff, we managed to obviously keep everything afloat. So, and after the COVID, everybody wanted to join up and get out. And that's obviously how we've managed to keep it as a full-time thing at the moment. So we're doing, I say at the moment, it's we're doing really well with it. So
how difficult was to do the leap from the I'm leaving my work to be a full-time teacher? Because for me it was taken out of my hands.
Yeah.
So I still don't feel like a full-time teacher because I'm full-time dad and that's my job.
Yeah.
But how did you go about? Yes, now I'm going, and what kind of fears were with it associated?
Yeah. So, like that massive jump, I've always worked in the print industry from when I was a kid right the way up until I left. And I'd always had a relatively decent paid job, so we were being able to afford to go on the odd holiday and have a nice car and whatever. And then it was the thing of, right, okay, if I take this leap, what is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Am I going to completely have a massive flop and obviously fall straight on my face and everybody's going to laugh at me? But then it was the thing of, right, well, no, I've got a really good support network of people that are going, no, it will survive. You will do well at it. I think that's probably the thing. It's like you were saying, obviously we had the seminar with you earlier on and you were saying about being anxious about, the fears of this and the fears of that. There was a massive fear of not achieving anything. But I think because I had so many people that had my back in 2017 when we set up, there was always these people can help me out. Paul Lynch is a big person for me in my life. Sorry. He's helped me out with quite a lot. I didn't expect this to go this way. But if I'd had something where I was a bit like, I'm not quite sure about this, I'd go to him and then he'd give me the reason for doing it or the reason for not doing it. So he was always really open with that. And for me, I had like a massive support network of people, not just the family, but obviously outside of that as well. And I think that just confirmed everything to actually, no, let's push forward with this and obviously achieve what we can with it. So, But
what would you advise people like myself who's thinking going full-time? What would you do and what would you recommend not to do? Because I'm sure there were some mistakes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I think sometimes, as if you want to be able to have that certain amount of income coming in. Now, again, from a business perspective, a lot of people turn around and say, oh, you shouldn't be making money out of martial arts and da-da-da-da-da, which in some respects, okay, some of you might, some of those guys might be right. But also likewise, if you want to be able to do it and do it as a full-time career and be able to have the things that you want to have, then you've got to obviously take some of those risks and those chances. And one of those potential risks was maybe teaching some of the children that were maybe too young. So we take them from 4 years of age. Rightly or wrongly, it is very challenging. I'm not going to dispute that. But we set that age group from the very beginning, and I would really struggle now to be able to go back on that. What the future holds, I don't know. But as it stands at the moment, potentially I would maybe either go from 5 up or maybe even 6 up, depending. That's probably one of the things that I would maybe potentially think about making a slight change on. Doing it from a positive thing, I've got more time now for myself, and I'd always work shifts or nights, and me and Chrissy potentially wouldn't really see each other during the week because I'd be in bed, she'd be at work, and so on and so on.
I know how it is because my whole family is printers as well. So my mom, my aunt, my brother, all printing people.
Yeah. So from the positive thing the positive thing. It's literally having more time for ourselves, and doing the things that we want to do, and not being dictated to by the hours that we work. Obviously, it's hard work because you've got all the admin side, you've got all the the seminars, the gradings, the classes, all the other stuff as well. And now my daughter, she's now had her own baby, so we look after Bonnie on a Wednesday, which I couldn't do before, and so all the positive things from running your own club, yes, you have a bit more cash coming in, and what cash we do get, what money we do get coming in, we try and put as much back into it, whether that's new t-shirts, new stock, put on different free seminars or something like that. We might do summer socials where during the school holidays and stuff, we might put like a fun day on for the kids. So there's loads of different things potentially you can do with and the positive sides of running your own club. I'm not dictated to by anybody else either.
And as well, for those people who, because my teacher was like, you should not make martial arts money from martial arts.
Yeah.
But then if you've got a full-time job, you're coming from a full-time job, you're so tired that you cannot provide a quality training for people.
Yeah.
So you're doing kind of disservice to people, being a mediocre at best.
Yeah.
So, now having time, I can think what I want to do on session. I can do the half-year plan, 3 months plan,
yes,
whatever, and put the 100% effort to educate myself more to be better, and then pass it on. So, you've done well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, you're really good with making seminars, because you've got Ian 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, thank you very much for having me.
No,
I
appreciate
hope everybody enjoyed it. How did you go about that?
So
because that it is, I'm organizing quite a few seminars as well, and it is stressful. You have to invest money up front. You never know how many people turns up.
Yeah.
Then get the teachers, pay the teachers, and that's not cheap stuff. So how do you go about that?
So I think the thing with starting off, having the seminars was the thing of Ian's name popped up on the social media, and I was like, okay, then he's the practical karate guy. Yeah,
Guru.
let's go to him. So I sort of reached out to him and said, would it be beneficial for us to have you coming in and teach a seminar? And then it was the thing of okay, how do I go about marketing this? Because I thought I'd never done it before. So then it was just the fact of let's get it out on all of our social media pages, and then just get people to share, comment. The more comments you get, the bigger, algorithm you get on your posts. And then all of a sudden it was the fact, you're such and such. Can we come and join in on your seminar? I said, all right, fair enough. So then it was just creating that thing of creating an email with all the info on it, which I'd never done before, because obviously I like hitting things. I don't like tapping on a keyboard. That's my thing. And then, like I say, with that, then all of a sudden we're getting Ian coming in, and the more I got to know him, the more seminars that I started to do with him. And then it was the thing of having that connection with him, then talking to Peter about setting up a syllabus to be able to be affiliated with them. And then obviously I've met yourself and a few other guys as well, been to Germany, obviously with Christian. Yeah. And so I think all of us now have that massive, network of people that we can all bounce off each other. So, if you'd ask me a question about, how to do this and that, I'll try my best to try and find out what it is that we do with it. And also likewise, it would be the fact, I'll look at your content and I'll go, I like that. I want to be able to take that. So some of the stuff that I've seen you do, I've taken and I've gone, okay, that's how I want to be able to do that now in our club.
Cool.
So,
because you're mainly following Ian's kind of recipe for karate.
I think because where we were so how do I put it? So my old affiliation that I was with, they were very much like, you can't train with anybody else, or you shouldn't go out and train with anybody else. It's our way or no way, basically. And like I said, I'm not trying to slag them off at all. It just, I needed something more for myself.
That's how they've been set up.
Yeah.
So they're going,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And I think the fact that when somebody puts that barrier in front of you, you can't go and do this. I'm like, well, actually, why can't I?
Watch me.
And watch me do it. So, and that was one of the things. So it was just literally right. Well, let's go and try it and see what this is about. And then all of a sudden, because we didn't really do the kata bunkai application stuff for the katas, it was more of the just the showing of the kata, the performing of the kata, and not understanding what we were using them for. As soon as I started to see what Ian was about, then I was like, this is the direction that I want to go in. The old club was I was very tournament based, very competition based, and I did pretty well at it, along with the kids as well. And I think because of that was the journey that we were on at the time. And then all of a sudden things decided to change. We decided we wanted it a bit more. So
I like about Ian is that he's very structured. Everything is very clearly described.
Yeah.
You see what's going, which mine is kind of a mess. Personally, I'm cowed. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But to describe it's struggle sometimes, right? So that's why I copy a lot of things from Ian.
Yeah.
I watch him how he teaches and taking the same from Christian.
Yeah.
And other people, because it's just still a creative process in my confused head.
Yeah.
So obviously, guys, those who listen and would like to go and join the seminar, so support the Kazoku Do. Karate.
Jutsu,
The link's gonna be in the description down below.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you wanna support the show, grab the mugs, merchandise, or you can buy us a coffee. Links in the description. And another question to you is, how did karate help you with mental health? Did it or did not?
Yeah, well, it's like you said earlier, because obviously, we had you at the seminar today. When you put your uniform on, you have that body armour, don't you? You all of a sudden, you put that uniform on and then all of a sudden you become Superman.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is acceptance. And, am I doing the right thing? Does it look okay? What are people thinking about what I'm delivering? But I feel as though I'm at my best when I have my uniform on. It's like if I go out and have a coffee with someone, even if it's just one of the students, sometimes it's that, not awkwardness, but you feel slightly anxious because it's like it's a totally different setting. But then when you're in your own dojo and you've got your own uniform on, that's where I can be me. I can, like you said earlier, you laugh at yourself. I do. I laugh at myself. I crack a joke in the dojo and I'm laughing in my own head. I'm going, yeah, that was funny. But then some of the other guys think that wasn't really funny at all.
I know. I think I done one of those jokes today.
Yeah. But I think for mental health, it always gives me something to... Oh. Just something coming back. Oh God! Why does it always catch me?
That's okay.
Yeah. We all have challenges. And I think I lost my dad in 19 through cancer. I also lost a best friend before that, or a very good friend before that, to cancer. And every time that comes up, it always hits. It always hits. And karate for me is the release. Is the release from that. Yeah.
In a way, it's very similar to me. I lost my dad as well, but not to the cancer, but to the alcohol. And he tried to quit, but unsuccessfully, and eventually got himself. He is very emotional always, but
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We can be emotional, and
I didn't expect that to come out, Liz.
We talked about it today on a
Yeah.
seminar that showing emotion, especially through the high-ranking martial arts, is a very good example for students, right?
Yeah.
So you're just a normal person who goes through everything and have to process it and have an outlet. And
Yeah.
I think karate is the very good outlet for that. There's nothing like smashing pads and
Absolutely.
having a release. So, yeah. What's the future for Kazoku? Except changing the name
Yeah.
to Jutsu.
Well,
And growing and taking over all country.
yeah. The reason, I'll tell you the reason why we've been sort of looking at different types of logos and stuff is because we've been doing a thing called Kazoku Combat Defense.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And we get quite a lot of ladies coming into that, and we've got a few guys obviously do it as well. And it's a place where they can come to be them. It's a place where they can do some exercise. It's a place where they can hit pads, kick things, do a little bit of groundwork and stuff like that. And as that stands at the moment, we are inspired by that and inspired by the karate to actually set up a brand new program. So this is a first. Nobody else knows about this, Les.
Hush, don't tell anybody.
Yeah. So we're actually looking at setting up another full-time program within the karate, but it's called Kazoku Combat Defense, and it will be 3 different age groups. So we've got 6 to 9s, 10 to 13s, and then 14 plus. And it will be solely, there will be gradings within it. So it won't be belts, it will be shorts and T-shirts, but a Velcro patch where they can achieve things. There will be groundwork, locks, holds, and all these other bits and pieces. So that's something coming up relatively soon. We've had some paperwork come through for a venue that we've managed to get. Potentially, it's looking like we'll be starting. When did we go about looking?
1st of April.
So the 1st of April is when.
April's Fool?
Yeah. So first of April. That's when we're looking at sort of starting that up. But obviously, we're still in the process of looking at logos.
Yeah.
Equipment.
But that's gonna be more self-defense or
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of boxing gloves, freestanding kick bags, a lot of combinations on bags, doing a bit of BJJ as well on the ground and stuff. So it's we're not going to be doing any katas, no kata application, nothing like that. It's just going to be solely a lot of defense stuff, like rape escapes for the ladies as well. So that's going to be the main thing. So that's sort of for the future of the club. We've got that in the sort of in the process, and also obviously for the karate, still moving forward with that as well. The more seminars that we do, the more of a better understanding that I have of different ways to teach as well. And there's a few guys out there that teach children, and I try to get around those guys or get in contact with those guys as well. There's a very nice guy called Mike Turbett. We had a chat with him a couple of weeks ago.
Shout out to Mike.
Yeah.
If you want Mike's book, go on Lulu. I think he's on a Lulu.
That's correct.
Mighty Mitch. Mike is loving it.
Yeah. So we had a conversation, and I think he's on about trying to do some sort of seminar, like how to teach kids and how to develop them.
He's really good at it.
Yeah. So and lots of things from him we've actually sort of taken away. So it's 5 rules about paying attention and other things. So, but for the future of where we are, we're just trying to move forward. Kieran, our oldest son, he'll be giving his notice in at his job. Potentially in the next week, 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
So we'll be taking him on full time. So that then helps the development of everything else with the admin and the teaching, and obviously giving us a little bit more of a break.
Yeah.
So there's only obviously so many classes that we can teach before you start getting burned out.
Yeah.
So taking Kieran on is going to help with that. So So we've got a lot of team leaders at the moment coming through as well that are we're trying to develop those. And we've got some sort of leadership teaching sessions that we're going to have for those as well. We tried to do it just after Christmas, but something fell through and it didn't quite happen. But that's something that we got coming up in the next sort of few weeks or a couple of months.
Exciting times.
Yeah, so pretty good.
So you said you're doing BJJ as well.
Yes.
How do you find in it in the age? I'm asking because I just come back to BJJ as well.
Yeah.
And going against the 20-year-olds is
a
bit tiring.
Yes. So the BJJ. So I mean, I'm sort of lucky enough to. So the guy that I actually train with, he's a guy that I used to go to school with, but I didn't realise, obviously growing up as an older man, I didn't realise he ran his own club as well. So it was only by accident we actually got put in touch with him, and I realised that I thought, I know who you are, and then all of a sudden we started to train. So we do a lot of. We don't necessarily do lots of sparring rounds. We do a lot of. There's a lot of teaching, a lot of practicing. Yeah. There are obviously a few where we're doing some sparring rounds, and you're right, it does get challenging. I think after the first maybe 3, 4, 5 months, maybe I got a bit of a shoulder injury, and I think that was due to one of the guys wrenching the arm round, and so I was sort of put out of action for a little while. Not put out of action, but my training was a lot less. So as an older guy, so I'm 49 now. As an older guy, I am starting to find things a bit more challenging, but also likewise, I don't let that stop me doing what I want to do. It's like today, if I wasn't comfortable being thrown on the mat today, I would have got someone else to do it. Yeah. But because I was comfortable with it, I was, whatever happened. And I know that I trusted you when you were doing your throws and your takedowns and stuff. I trusted you 100%. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
Thank you.
So obviously from that side, that's a bonus for you, right? Yeah.
And it's nice that, I was talking about it with Christian Vedevard, and the thing that it stands out is he's always doing a training with people, no matter what seminar, and I do that as well. So as you've seen today, there was no problem picking up mats and tidying.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Christian does the same when he's doing his things, and you stepping out and be a uke, it shows that you're open-minded, and B, you leading by example, instead of just saying, "Oh no, you go there and you go wrong, and I'll be here, big boss," right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
I as I said before, full compliments for having a lovely team, because you've got really nice people. What's the secret to that? To have a nice people?
Oh, secret to that. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can't keep everybody happy. That's one of the things. You can't keep everybody happy. But I really try my hardest to try and keep everybody happy. Rightly or wrongly, I know there will be times where, someone will get upset because, either something's been said or I've done something in a certain way and whatever. But I always try my best to try and get around as many people as possible. I try to be very open as a family to feedback. We have the app where obviously the guys can check in and everything else. There's also that chat option there. So if they decided that they wanted to, send us a message or an email or whatever it is, they can do that via that. And we're very open as a family to say, listen, if you're challenged by something, please let us know. And it's not the fact that we'll shut them down and go, no, it's not being done like that. We're doing it this way. We'll always try and be open-minded. So even today, speaking to some of the guys today, some of them, are not happy to do the full takeover throws, but they're quite happy to do the ones where you're taking them around the hip. So for myself, from a teaching perspective, then for me to try and help those students out to have a happy team, I suppose, or a happy group of people, then I'll try to develop it in a way that's going to suit them, not necessarily suit me. So, but for the team, I mean, we try and work it that the team get something that, again, for future reference, not that they know it as of yet, there will be half-price seminars, no price. So if we put our own seminar on, it will be free for them. If we put an outside seminar like for yourself, it will either be half price, it will be free for the team leaders. So
I do that as well to mine always got the discount. So
so I know it's only money, but that little bit of like recognition for them to say thank you very much for putting your yourself forward to help develop the other people within the club and help that child or help that teenager, because can we do it on our own? Yes. Is it easier with leaders in the place? Yes, 100%. And not only that, they have the opportunity then of being able to grow their own leadership skills and be more confident in themselves by helping someone else. So, that's probably one of the things we try and do to help, have a good team, I suppose. They're always willing to help out, whether it's picking up mats, whether it's holding a set of pads, whether it's teaming up with someone or just, just helping with a account with Kata, so...
How do you navigate so many people with different needs coming to you from the point of view of admin? I know you've got Chrissy.
Yes.
I remember the name.
Yeah.
Chrissy doing a lot of stuff, but it's just everybody, willingly or not, pulling in different directions, right? I want this in my club. I want this in a club. How do you find the happy medium?
So we've had very much an evolving syllabus. When we first set up in 2017, we had this one direction where we were going. It was like, no, this is how we're going to do it, da-da-da-da-da. And then we suddenly realised that it can't be that way. And again, coming back to, the previous experience, it was the fact of, regardless whether you were 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, or whether you were 65, you all had that same syllabus to do. Yeah. So that 5 or 6 year old had to learn their first kata and all their basics exactly the same as a 65 year old or a 40 year old or whatever it was. And for us now, for me to understand that, I was like, right, actually, this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year olds are not developed the way that our teens are, and they're not, teens are not developed the way that our adults are. So to have that thing of like people going, I need this, I need that, we've had to quickly sort of have a look at certain things and go, right, our 4 to 8 year olds, they need to know, as long as they can stand in some sort of stance, as long as they can have some sort of guard, as long as they can strike pretty well, a few blocks here and there, as long as their focus is good and their confidence is building, then as they grade, it's not necessarily grading on, they can't do that kata right or they can't do this right, but they can do that right and that right and that right. So that's how we sort of look at the different ways of age groups. We do have obviously children with autism and ADHD, and with that, again, it has to be almost like another separate syllabus for them. So not as in they don't need to do anything, but we have to develop it in a way. So we have some children that they don't make eye contact with us when they first start. We're a young lad now called Morgan, lovely lad. When he first started with us, could not make eye contact, didn't want to do anything. He was a very confident lad, but he couldn't focus on you. He didn't want to look at you. Now he's a red belt. He's, how old is he now? I can't remember, 13, 14, maybe something like that. He can hit like a train, right? He can talk to you now. You can have a full blown conversation with you now. You can spar with him, and the confidence that he's got from being an autistic child, like he's totally different now. So and again, having that, so it's an evolving syllabus for him. So there are certain things that I expect from him. But there's also certain things that I know that he struggles with where I have to go, okay, let's take that in consideration and try and work on that a little bit more for him for his next grade. Yeah,
I've got the same with Danny. So
yeah.
You have to kind of adjust as you go. You don't know.
Yeah.
Cool. Superb.
Yeah.
Where people can find you?
So we're on socials all over. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So it's not necessarily, I don't do too much work on TikTok, but I do put the odd video out there. Obviously not so much as yourself. We do have YouTube, but that's more so now as a private channel that I have for my students. I very rarely put bits and pieces out on YouTube now for the public. I normally keep the YouTube stuff obviously just for our students, because I might have a pre-assessment and I'll do a video and do it as a private video for them on YouTube. But yeah, Kazoku Karate Do on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, that's pretty much us really.
Cool. So if you guys want to support John, I think the best way would be to attend the seminars.
Yeah, absolutely. So
seminars and...
Yeah, and I know, obviously, again, if you get in touch with Les, obviously Les can, put you in touch with us, and likewise, we can do the same thing, obviously, for him as well, having that support network.
All the links going to be in the description below. And if you guys want to support the show, the best way is to listen to the other episode. Thank you very much for your kindness.
No, perfect.
Coffee
Yeah,
and a chat.
yeah, coffee and a chat, lovely. And I'll be honest with you, you know, although I did get a little bit emotional through that, that was the real me coming out. So
Cool. That's what we need.
yeah, thank you for that.
Cool.
Appreciate it.